Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing another book thrifting vlog. Over the last month or so, I've really been scouring my shelves and taking off any books that I don't think I'm going to read again or that weren't 4 stars or above. And as a result of that, I've collected a couple of tote bags full of books that I'm going to take to my local used bookstore today to hopefully trade for shop credit. If the bookstore doesn't take the books, I will just put them in little free libraries around town, but I'm hoping for a lot of shop credit because I have quite the extensive list of books to look for today. Here is a close-up in case anyone is curious about what all I have on here. I definitely don't plan to get all these today, but I want to get a lot of them. However, as we all know, used bookstores are very hit or miss. You never know what you're going to find. So let's head out and see what happens. Alrighty y'all, I am back from the bookstore and from getting lunch. I ended up getting 7 books today along with a book box set, so let me show you everything. First up, I was so excited to see this in the store today. This is Dragon Fruit by McKay. This is a young adult fantasy book. I got this from my library a few weeks ago and really enjoyed it, which is kind of weird because I hardly ever read fantasy and I very rarely read young adult, so I didn't super expect to like this, but the cover just drew me in. I mean, it's so gorgeous. And I thought this was a great book. I'll probably talk more about it in my March reading wrap-up, but basically they live in a fantasy world where dragon eggs are very sought after because they have healing properties. So they are hunting dragon eggs in this book. And this book actually combines dragons and pirates, both of which I know are very popular in the reading world right now, but I don't think I've ever read a pirate novel, at least not as an adult. And the only dragon books I've ever read are like Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit type thing. So yeah, this was really fun and different for me, and overall I really recommend this book. I am super excited to have my own copy. I'm gonna have to find a way to display this, I think, because it's so gorgeous. Next up, I got The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. This is another young adult fantasy book, which again, not usually my thing, but because I enjoyed Dragon Fruit so much, I think I'm going to try to read some more YA fantasy. And this one specifically, I know I've heard people talk about and seen on my Goodreads feed and stuff like that. So from what I understand as I skim through the little intro, oh, also this book, it has a little inscription at the front. I showed it in the video, but it says, "Happy 16th birthday to the world's bestest big bro," which I thought was so cute. One of the reasons I love buying thrifted books is because you never know what you're gonna find in a thrifted book, including cute little notes like that. But inside the front cover over here, it says that in this fantasy world, there's a civil war brewing, and trying to unite the kingdom, a nobleman named Connor makes up this plan to find someone to impersonate the king's long-lost son, and he gets these 4 boys together and they basically have to fight it out to decide who's going to be the false prince. So that sounds interesting. I guess this is going to be kind of like medieval historical fiction type thing as well. Should be fun. The next 2 books I got go together. I got Uglies and Pretties by Scott Westerfeld. And I picked these up because I remember reading Uglies when I was in middle school, I think. When did this come out? Okay, 2005. So I would have been 9 years old when this came out. So I must have read it a few years later, like I said, probably in middle school. And I remember really liking this first book right here, but I don't think I ever finished the series. So when I saw these in the store today, I thought I would get the first 2. There's 4 in total, but I thought I would get the first 2 and see what I think of it now. But this is a young adult dystopian novel, and I never read dystopian ever. I really don't like it. I actually tried to read a dystopian a couple of days ago, and I ended up DNFing it because, I don't know, I have a problem with dystopian novels a lot because I feel like the world building is really lacking, but I'm not gonna go off on a tangent right now. So in this dystopian world, when you turn 16, you get a lot of plastic surgery to make you more beautiful, to turn you from an ugly into a pretty, and it's not an option, you have to do it. But the main girl, her name is Tally. She's about to turn 16 and she doesn't want to have this operation done, or she's kind of on the fence about it really. But then her best friend Shay runs away and Tally decides to also run away to escape having to undergo this operation. And I think they end up learning some secrets about the government and the people that are ruling them and causing them to have these operations when they run away. So should be fun to read about. I barely remember any details from this series, so I'm hoping it'll be like I'm reading it for the first time. Next up, I got Firefly Hollow by Allison McGee, and if you watched my February reading wrap up, you know I talked about this book in that video. I gave this book 3 stars when I originally read it, or listened to it rather, because I listened to the audiobook, and 3 stars for me usually means it was okay, but I wouldn't read it again. However, I have been thinking about this book so much since I finished it, and I decided I wanted to read it again, and this time I decided to go and read the actual physical copy instead of the audiobook, just to see what I think, because apparently I liked it more than I originally thought or something. I don't know, but because I've been thinking about it so much, I decided to give it a second chance. And I really like this edition because it has pictures inside. Look at that. So whimsical, fun for spring. So I'll try to get to this again soon and make my final decision on it. This is a middle grade book, by the way. I don't think I said, but you can probably tell by the cover. Next up is more middle grade. I got How to Steal a Dog by Barbara O'Connor. Again, if you watch my February reading wrap up, I read Wish by Barbara O'Connor in that video, and I loved that book. It was so good. Definitely one of my favorite books of the year so far. And I decided I wanted to read more Barbara O'Connor, so I was looking for her at the bookstore today, and they only had Wish and this book, which I thought was weird because I'm pretty sure she's written a bunch of books. But I am happy I have something else to read by her. This one is about a girl named Georgina whose family is like financially unstable. And so Georgina sees this poster for a missing dog with a reward of $500. So she decides she's going to steal a dog to give to the people who are missing the dog and hopefully get the $500. So if this is anything like Wish, it's going to be very emotional and super good, but just a very heart-wrenching story. So I'll have to save this to read for one of those times when I feel like having a good little cry over a book. Next up, this probably seems so random, but I got the first book in the Babysitters Club series. This is called Christie's Great Idea. And I got this because I have never read this series. I know it's really popular and a lot of people grew up reading this and it's what kind of got them into reading. I never had even heard of these until I was probably 22 or 23 years old. I don't remember any of my friends reading these in school or anything like that, so I honestly don't really know what it's about. I'm assuming it's some girls who form a babysitting club, but I'm not sure what else they could do in this series. But I'm excited to read it and see what all the hype is about. I think this could kind of be considered a middle grade classic, and I always enjoy reading classics, so yeah. Alright, last thing I got is a box set of the Narnia books. I was so excited to see this today because I do have a Narnia box set already, but it is super old and it needs to be retired. I mean, I've literally resorted to taping some of the books together because they're falling apart. So I needed a nice new set, and this one has a really nice looking box as well, so you can kind of display it. All the books are in there. They don't look like they've even ever been read to me, so I thought this was a great find. Now that I have this, I feel like I need to reread Narnia, and I definitely would love to do that. I've read the whole series through, I think, 3 times, if I remember correctly, but I've definitely read individual books more than that because I do have some books in the series that I like more than others. My all-time favorite one, though, is The Voyage of the Dawn Treader. You should comment below and tell me your favorite Narnia book. I know everyone has their own particular favorite. That is going to be it for my little bookstore vlog and book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I always really enjoy filming vlogs, so if you enjoy it, please let me know so I can film more in the future. If you've read any of these books that I showed here today, please let me know what you thought of them. I'd love to chat about it in the comments. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!